Hello everyone, Storm11 here. Today we'll be having an update on Thanksgiving week here. See what the models are suggesting on the upcoming potential big storm system that may move in across parts of the central and in eastern United States early next week. We'll also be looking throughout the rest of Thanksgiving week and see what the models are also suggesting from there as well. So we're going to get started with the GFS model here. And what we got going on right now, we got a strong low pressure system that's going to be moving closer, which is actually in the southwestern part, Saskatchewan. So in the comment section, did correct the pronunciation, which I do appreciate on the last video, which I did write it down there. Hopefully I pronounced it right this time. But anyways, we got that strong low pressure system in that general area. On the back side of the system here, we got very strong winds on the back side of the system here. This also moves into parts of the North Dakota, into parts of Minnesota. If you guys haven't seen on the news already, southern part of British Columbia and parts of northern Washington got hit very hard a couple of days ago. They had a lot of rainfall, strong winds, and all that rainfall in the last 31 days. They got 40 inches of rain. And some places got 40 inches of rain in the last 31 days. That's a lot of rain, and that led to significant flooding to a lot of them towns, and also on the rivers as well. We got highways, especially in southern British Columbia, are completely closed. They're either destroyed or even blocked by mudslides. So it's a mess over there right now. It will likely take several months to recover from that, and hopefully we don't see any more systems anytime soon because they do not need any more rain. But anyways, going back to what's going to be happening today, it'll be a gusty southwest wind across parts of the Ohio Valley back into the Texas-Arkansas region. Wind gusts could be anywhere from 25 to 40 miles per hour throughout the rest of today into tonight as well. We got this cold front that moves across a lot of these areas in here. We have a really nice day here. Out ahead of the frontier is some really nice mild temperatures here. We got temperatures that'll be deep in the 60s and 70s for today. Unfortunately, that's going to change tomorrow as a cold front moves in, and we kind of go back to where we were last weekend. Unfortunately for the northwest here, we got another system moves on shore. Now, this is not as intense as some of the last ones. It's a weaker system, but it does still bring in some rain and also some snow in the higher elevations as well. And this is where things get very interesting here. So we got a big trough that's been moving in from Canada. Here's a low pressure system in the southeastern part of Saskatchewan, and that'll be moving to the southeast. GFS also shows a low developing in Missouri as well. So now parts of the eastern United States here, you guys are in kind of in the southwest wind, could be a little gusty again. And then this low here starts to really intensify here very quickly here, since these two lows kind of merge here, becomes a stronger storm system. And then again, the warm sector here, you got showers, and it's also be windy as well. Not really expecting any severe weather out of the setup here. The instability values will likely be too low for any severe weather potential on the setup here, but it may change. We'll see. But you do have this big trough that starts to move in. Meanwhile, you got snow across parts of Wisconsin, Minnesota. Off of Lake Huron, you got lake effect snow going on the backside of this system. Even across Lake Michigan as well, lake effect snow seems pretty likely here. We could possibly see snow showers as possibly as far south as the higher elevations in Tennessee and North Carolina. It's not a guarantee at this point, but that's how far south some of those snow showers could be. You can see how the system here really starts to rapidly intensify. Or, yeah, that's probably the right word for it. Another 87 millbar low. So that's a pretty strong low here. You got this big trough here. Now we're watching this cold front out here. A low will probably try to develop along that front. Models have been kind of all over the place with this here, so kind of take this as a grain of salt here of how this could turn out. But the GFS does suggest that a low pressure system will develop off the coast of Massachusetts, Maine, and also New Hampshire. And on the cold end here, or on the backside of that low, that was a little further inland, we got snow falling across those regions. You can also tell the Great Lakes region is pretty active there with lake effect snow getting into the higher elevations of West Virginia, even getting into the mountains of North Carolina as well. It'll be something to watch here for now, but then again, take that as a grain of salt. Models have been kind of going back and forth with it. And here we go getting into Thanksgiving Day, which is Thursday. And so far for the GFS ball, not really expecting much away issues here. There will be some pretty cold temperatures across parts of the Northeast Great Lakes in the north, the northern plains, and the upper Midwest as well. Some showers and thunderstorm activity across parts of Texas and Louisiana. It looks like another system may be making onshore into parts of the Northwest as well. It's where things get a little bit interesting here. Some models are hinting on possibly a storm system could develop somewhere in this region in here as well late next week, but that's not a guarantee for right now. We are still pretty far out at this point here. This is 234 hours out. Let's check out the Canadian model here, and then again, same thing that be happening over the next couple of days. A system will be moving into the northwest where some areas do not need any rain. Here we go again. So this is now getting into the early morning hours on Monday. So you got this low here across parts of Ontario. That'd be deepening as well at the same time. Lots of snow on the backside of it. Things will start to get windy on the backside of the low as well. The Great Lakes region will likely experience some lake effect snow. And then you do see here from the Canadian model shows that low developing also off the coast of Maine. And very similar scenario with the GFS. Heavy snowfall for parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, and also maybe Massachusetts as well. Then again, take it as a grain of salt as well. But look at this here. This is something very interesting here. Like I was talking about on the front of the GFS ball, some models been hinting on possibly a low developing somewhere across parts of the several plains there as well. We'll watch for that as well. But things then again can change as well. Here's the icon model here. You can see here shows the low developing along the front pretty late here. And if that's the case, not much effects for the northeast, other than probably a lot of wind. It'll also be very chilly as well. It's also very similar to the Canadian model, having a storm system somewhere across parts of the several plains in the four corner states as well. Especially when you get to around Thanksgiving time and also Black Friday as well. So I'm going to watch for now. We'll check out the European model here, and you can see here it shows that low developing along that front as well. Somewhere off the east coastline. But then again, these models here will be trying to figure out how this is going to play out here. And it also shows another low developing along that front as well. But it doesn't show much away of snow on the back side of the system either, so then again, some high uncertainty with that low developing along the front here. We're still a little ways away from the event, so then again, like I said, take it as a grain of salt for now, since things will likely change. And then here's Thanksgiving here. The European model shows a different story. Shows a big trough moving in. We got a cold front out here, it's also bringing in showers and thunderstorms across parts of Texas and Louisiana, across parts of the South as well. But then again, that may also change as well. So what's going to be causing this pattern here? Well, we're going to check out the 500 millibar geopotential height anomalies. And this is where you kind of see your ridges of troughs here. The blues, that's where you have some of the troughs. And the oranges and reds, that's your ridges there, out there. Stronger the ridge, the brighter the colors are. Stronger the troughs, the darker the color is, basically. And you can see here, we'll have a nice little ridge here across a good chunk of the United States here for this upcoming weekend here. But watch what's going to be happening up here, up in Canada. That's going to be moving down to the southeast here. You got this big piece of energy here, and also this trough that'll be moving in. But there's other things I want to note here. One thing is that we got a positive P&A here. Now, this is some good news for the Northwest, because they do need a break here. So it'd be nice to see a ridge develop for the Northwest. Another thing I want to notice is that we got a ridge not far away from Greenland here. That's actually a strong ridge up there as well. So basically, what you got here, you got a positive PNA, and you also got a negative NAO up here. And this is what we kind of consider a little bit of a blocking pattern here as well. What happens here is that a lot of these troughs that kind of get stuck up here in this region here starts to move further to the south and also increases your chances of seeing some colder than normal conditions. And you can see here how this really plays out here. So this is early next week where the GFS model shows a big trough in the eastern United States. You got that positive PNA across the western United States. You also do notice here a ridge starts to build to the southern part of Greenland. That will eventually expand and get stronger as well. I mean, that's one heck of a negative NAO. If that's correct, you're talking about a strong negative NAO. Now, the positive PNA does weaken a little bit as we get to the middle of next week, but then again, may need to take that as a grain of salt since we are getting a little far out. But you do see here, so we kind of get to later, well, next weekend, I should say. You still got negative NAO in there. You also got a ridge starting to build just off to the west as well. But then Trough returns from the northwest at that point as well. But it's certainly something very interesting to watch here over the next several days here and see how that kind of plays out. Let's check out the Canadian model here, and you can see here a very similar scenario here. However, what's a little bit different about the Canadian model is that this ridge here is a little further to the southwest as well. It actually kind of expands into parts of eastern Canada and even to parts of the northeastern United States as well. Just really interesting. But it also shows that positive PNA sticking around as well. It also wants to try to do a positive PDO as well. Now, I think that's going to be pretty hard to come by, especially with those below average sea surface temperatures. I honestly have some doubts of a positive PDO, but we'll see what kind of happens here. That's at least 10 days out, so this is going to change here more than likely. But it does show that's a very similar scenario where we have a negative NAO, and there may be times we can see a positive PNA as well. Now we can't really, unfortunately, can't really view that from the European model, but you're able to see some of those ridges or troughs. We'll be able to at least view the PNA region. But then again, here's early next week. You got a big ridge that develops across pretty much the entire central and western United States. You got this big trough that deepens across the eastern United States as well. And then we kind of get a brief warm up, and then another trough starts to move in as well. And that positive PNA still sticks around as well across a good chunk of the western United States as well. So we at least do have a pretty decent agreement here that a positive PNA is likely going to stick around, probably maybe at least most of next week as well. And there's a couple other things here I forgot to put on here. We'll check out the ensemble members here, and we'll check out the GFS model here, or the GFS ensembles, I should say, first. And this is an average of 20 members. And you can see here with that big trough moving in across the eastern United States by early next week. So this is Tuesday morning here. Very early Tuesday morning. And you can see here, that's a pretty good agreement there from the GFS ensembles there for the eastern United States. So it does seem pretty likely that we're going to see a trough moving in early next week. It seems like that's very likely at this point. But we just do not know what the low pressure system is going to look like because there's probably going to be a big storm system, but we're not really sure what's going to bring or anything like that since we're still a little ways away from the event. Plus, I'm also been kind of going back and forth with it as well, so there's still some uncertainties here. But anyways, as you kind of get into mid to late next week, check this out here. Look at the NAO region. That's a pretty impressive agreement there for this far out. We are a little over a week out, and the GFS ensemble show something like that with an average of 20 members. That's pretty impressive there from the GFS ensembles. So you got a good agreement with that. You also got a decent agreement here with that positive PNA across the Northwest as well at the same time. So This is a pretty good agreement here for this blockade pattern as well. You do see here, and then things kind of go away a little bit as well as this agreement becomes a little bit higher, and there's, well, at least the uncertainty goes up as well as we get further out, especially 10 plus days out. Here's the European ensembles, and has an average of 50 members, and it still shows a strong negative NAO over Greenland. Pretty impressive. He also got a positive PNA as well to make things even better, and this is what you call pretty much almost a blocking pattern as well. So this is very interesting as well. And if we kind of go back to Monday, you can see there pretty much the European and it's almost agreeing on there's going to be a big trough sometime really Monday, Tuesday, maybe getting to Wednesday of next week as well across the eastern United States, which this could certainly create some problems as well. We do know that it's going to bring in some very cold air as well. Let's actually check that out as well. Very cold air. And so this is the 2 meter temperature anomalies here. If we kind of go back here a little bit, you can see here comes that big trough that moves in here. And this is, then again, your temperature anomalies here. So this is compared to average. The northeast, very warm up there, well above average temperatures out there. I apologize if you hear any noise in the background. That's wind hitting the window. So it's creating a lot of noise, so I apologize for that. Um, anyways, check out this here. That's below average temperatures really starting to move in across the eastern United States as well. And you can see across pretty much the entire eastern United States is below average with temperatures. You got temperatures maybe anywhere from 4 to maybe 12 degrees below average in Celsius. In Celsius. So you're talking about maybe temperatures anywhere maybe from 10 to maybe 15 or 20 degrees below average. So that's pretty cold stuff right there. If we check out the Canadian model here, with these temperature anomalies here, and again, you can see there, above normal temperatures likely across parts of the eastern United States by the early morning hours on Monday. And then here comes that big trough that moves in. Now you're starting to see well below average temperatures across parts of the Ohio Valley in the Midwest as well. That's temperatures really between 8 to maybe 12 to maybe 14 degrees below average in Celsius again. So well below average temperatures for those regions as well. So either way, very cold air will be coming in with this trough here. That seems to be a guaranteed. We just do not necessarily know about this low here that be developing along that front. That's something we don't really know just yet. I'm also been kind of going back and forth with that as well. We'll check out the European model very quickly here. Then we'll move back to the tail connections as well. We'll check out the tail connections in a little bit more of a different graphic here. This is almost forgot. Now, this is actually in Fahrenheit, by the way. So this is in Fahrenheit, not in Celsius. Then again, you can see there the northeast, well above normal temperatures, between 15 to 20 degrees above normal. So pretty mild up there. But on the backside, but in this trough here, you got temperatures 10 to 15 degrees below average. And you can seriously see there, check out the southeast. I mean, this is Tuesday afternoon. Look at Florida, about 21 degrees below average. That's well below average temperatures there. You can even see the higher elevations in North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia. Also has temperatures 20 degrees below average as well. So certainly some pretty cold stuff. That is likely early to mid next week as well. All right, let's kind of talk about tail connections. We're going to focus more on the AO, NAO, and the PNA. We'll first check out the NAO. Now this is the GFS ensembles here. And you can see here, check out that big dip here. Getting to next week here. That would be an indication that a strong negative NAO will probably be coming as well here. And that's a pretty good agreement as well. Those red lines there, that's a pretty much the individual model members. That's what that is. And you can see there's a pretty strong agreement here that we're probably going to see a strong negative NAO next week. And here's just the GFS model to itself, and also indicates that as well, possibly seeing a strong negative NAO as well. Here's the P&A, and you can see here from the GFS ensembles, it's not necessarily going to be a very strong positive P&A, but it will certainly be a positive P&A. The majority of the members are kind of at that 1 degree line here. You can see here an update consideration, probably at least a positive P&A as well. Not a very strong agreement though with the P&A. If we check out the AO, it's also going to be a negative AO as well, which kind of leads to some of that colder air to move further south into parts of the United States as well. That's what it kind of means there. That means the polar vortex will be more wavy. Some parts of it will move further to the south as well, so that way all of it won't be locked up around the Arctic Circle. So that's what this pretty much means here, or you could say the Arctic Oscillation here as well. So very interesting here. So really for teleconnections, pretty much do support a pretty cold pattern and probably a stormy pattern as well for the eastern United States next week. If we check out the Climate Prediction Center's forecast here, so this is for the next 6 to 10 days, below average temperatures across most of the eastern United States, warmer than average across parts of southern Texas and the western United States as well. Here's precipitation, looking to be active across parts of the south and east. Looking to be a little bit drier across parts of the western United States as well. Also looking a little bit on the drier side across parts of the Midwest and the Central Plains as well. If we check out temperatures for 8 to 14 days, below average temperatures for most of the eastern United States, looking pretty warm across parts, pretty much the entire western United States as well. Precipitation wise, looking dry across the Midwest and the Central Plains. It's also looking dry across most of the West, and it's also looking to be on the wetter side across parts of the deep South, and also getting up to parts of the Mid-Atlantic as well. So certainly a very interesting pattern. Here's the probability map here for 8 to 14 days here. And in this blue shade here, that's a slight risk for well below average temperatures. And in this green here, that's a slight risk of some heavy precipitation as well. So there is a low end risk to see below average, actually I should say well below average temperatures for areas in the blue for the next 8 to 14 days. And this is pretty much for really only for November the 24th. In this heavy precipitation area, this is mainly for from November the 24th to November the 27th as well. So this is certainly areas we'll probably need to monitor here very closely over the next several days. But it's certainly going to be an interesting week next week. But anyways, guys, this is all for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you got some questions about this, put the comment section down below. I answer you guys questions. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.